Today we're going to be solving systems of equations by graphing. Up until now we've been able to graph an equation, but now we have a system of equation. And a system of equation is simply a set of equations. We can have two equations, we can add 3 equations up here, 4 equations, and that makes it a system of equation. Anytime it's more than one equation. So please write down that definition, and then we're going to start to graph. Now your paper is a little bit different than mine. You have one here and one here. I have taken them and separated them so that you can see them for today. So I'm going to start with my first equation here, and I'm going to rewrite it over here so I can see it, which is y equals a negative 2x plus 6. Remember, this is the y-intercept, which is the b, and this is the slope, m. Slope is a negative 2, and we write it as rise over run. So I've got my rise, and I simply put it over 1 for my run. When I go to graph it, I'm going to go over to positive 6, up to positive 6, that's my y-intercept on my y-line, and put a point there. And now I'm going to do my slope. Remember, negative 2 over 1 can mean up 2, left 1, or it can mean the opposite, down 2 and right 1. So I'm going to come over to my point, my starting point, my y-intercept 6. I'm going to go up 1, 2, left 1. And then I'm going to do the opposite, come back to my y-intercept, down 2 and right 1. And then I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to line it up with the 3 points on my graph. Remember, we need to have 3 points when we're graphing, 2 points when we're finding slope. So I'm going to line it up, and then I'm going to take my line and draw it going straight down. Going through those 3 points. Put my ruler back down. Remember, this line goes on and on, so we put arrows at the end of it. And you really want it to go all the way through the graph. I didn't do it this time. And now I'm going to do my second equation. Y equals negative 1/2 x plus 3. Remember, this is my y-intercept plus 3, which is the same thing as a positive 3. And then my slope, which is my m, is a negative 1/2. So I'm going to come up to my graph at positive 3 on the y-axis. I'm going to put a point there. And my slope, negative 1/2, means up 1, left 2, or it can mean down 1 and right 2. So I'm going to go up 1 and left 2, and I'm going to go down 1 and right 2. And if you notice, something just happened with that line and the point I just made. I'm going to slide my ruler over, line it up with the 3 points. And I'm going to take my pencil and draw a straight line going from one end of the graph to the other end. Keep doing that. I'm going to slide my ruler down and slide back up to my problem. And if you notice, these 2 lines just intersected at this point right here. And that's the answer to this problem. And it is a 1, 2, 3, positive 3, and positive 2. I went over 1 too many. Went over 1, 2, positive 2, and up 2, positive 2, positive 2. So when x is positive 2 in this equation and y is positive 2, it will make a true statement. And when x is positive 2 here and y is positive 2, it'll make a true statement here. So what we're going to do is we're going to check our work to make sure that it did make a true statement. So I'm going to temporarily get rid of my ruler. And I'm going to take this equation right here, and I'm going to plug in the x of 2 and y of 2. So over here I've got y equals negative 2x plus 6. So y is 2. Negative 2 times 2 plus 6. So 2 should equal to negative 2 times 2, which is a negative 4 plus 6. So 2 should equal to negative 4 plus 6, which is a 2. And that's a true statement. So when x is 2 and y is 2, that makes this equation correct. And for my second one, same thing again. Y equals negative 1/2 times 2. Oops, I forgot to plug in my y. Y is 2. Negative 1/2 times 2. Remember, I just simply put that over 1. Plus 3. And I get 2, and if you stick this in your calculator, and negative 1/2 times 2 is a negative whole plus 3. So 2 equals negative 1 plus 3 is 2. 2 equals 2. Since that's correct, that point also fits in this equation. So this is the solution to these two equations. This will work, and this point will work in both of those equations, and it will be on both of those lines. So that is the answer for this system of equation. X is positive 2, y is positive 2. Now we're going to do another one. So I'm going to take this equation, I'm going to slide it over to the side of mine. You can put it underneath or wherever you have room. So I have y equals 8/5 x minus 1. Remember, the minus 1 is my y-intercept. That's my b. The 8/5 is my slope. So I'm going to come over here where y is negative 1. That's my y-intercept. My slope is up 8 and forward 5, because this is a positive slope. And then I'm going to do the opposite, down 8 and backwards 5. And I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to line it up with those 3 points. And then I'm going to draw my line, going through those 3 points, and this time I do have to stretch it all the way out on my graph. And I'm going to cut that out for a quick second, and I'll bring it back in a second. So now I'm going to go to my second equation. Y equals negative 4/3 x minus 1. Remember, this is my y-intercept, b is negative 1, this is my slope. So I'm going to come over to my graph, and where y is negative 1, same spot, and then slope up 1, 2, 3, 4, backwards 1, 2, 3, or I can go down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and forwards 1, 2, 3. And take my ruler. I already see my answer, but I'm still going to graph it all the way, even though I found my answer when I plotted my 1 point. Line my ruler up with my 3 points. Grab my pencil and draw a straight line. Going through those 3 points. And where these 2 lines intersect, that is my solution. So when x is 0, y is negative 1. For both of these problems, when I plug a 0 in for x, y is going to be negative 1 for both of those equations. And that's my answer to this system of equation. This is where both of the lines intersect, and where both of them, when x and y is plugged in, will be equal. So what I want you to do now is do 2 practice problems on your own. If you have any questions, write them down, and we'll discuss them in class tomorrow. These are systems of equations.